Picture this. You are strapped into the cockpit of a modern fighter jet, like miles above the earth.
Yeah.
Right. You are at the controls of this absolute engineering marvel. It is capable of utterly shattering the speed of sound. We are talking about raw, terrifying, explosive power just right at your fingertips.
Yeah, absolute power.
But then you enter a dogfight, another jet is out there, and they are actively trying to shoot you down. And in that, that life or death moment, something completely counterintuitive happens.
Really does.
Neither you nor your opponent wants to fly straight, and neither one of you wants to use your top speed.
Yeah.
Instead, you hit the brakes, you pull these massive looping curves, and you practically throw the aircraft into organized tumbles. It just forces this fundamental question. If staggering speed is the ultimate advantage of a fighter jet, why on earth would a pilot actively choose to throw that speed away?
It's a brilliant paradox. I mean, we are so conditioned by popular culture to measure fighter jets by their maximum velocity.
Yeah.
Mach 2, Mach 3.
Yeah, exactly.
We just think the fastest jet wins.
Yeah.
But in the brutal reality of a close-range engagement, raw speed actually becomes a massive liability.
A liability, wow.
Yeah. In a dogfight, turning radius is the metric that dictates everything. It is not just, a performance figure on a manufacturer's spec sheet. It is a literal survival variable.
Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are thrilled you're joining us. Today, our mission is to explore a truly fascinating source text. It's titled, Why Fighter Jets Don't Fly in a Straight Line During a Dogfight.
It's a great read.
It really is. It takes us right into the cockpit to break down the extreme physics, the high-speed geometry, and the intense cognitive science of aerial combat. Okay, let's unpack this. Because reading through these sources, I really need to understand the mechanics of why going fast is a terrible idea when someone is actively trying to lock a missile onto you.
Right, so to really grasp this speed trap, we have to look at the cold, hard numbers presented in the text.
Okay, lay 'em on me.
Let's take a benchmark fourth-generation fighter, like the F-16. At altitude, it has a top speed of roughly Mach 2, which translates to about 2,450 kilometers per hour.
That is incredibly fast.
It is. Now, fundamental physics dictates that the faster an object travels, the larger its turning radius becomes, assuming the turning force remains constant.
Makes sense.
So at Mach 2, an F-16's minimum turning radius is not measured in tens or hundreds of meters. It is literally measured in kilometers.
Wait, really? Kilometers?
Yes. We are talking about a massive sweeping arc just to change direction.
So if you're flying at that top speed, turning your jet takes up the airspace of, like, a small city?
That puts it into perspective perfectly, yeah. Imagine a scenario where two opposing jets are separated by just 3 kilometers.
Okay.
If one pilot decides to fly straight at the other at Mach 2, they will completely overshoot their enemy before they can even complete a fraction of a turn to align their weapons.
Wow.
The physics simply will not allow them to corner tightly enough.
It makes me think of driving a car. Like, if I'm flying down a highway at 150 miles an hour, I can't suddenly crank the steering wheel and take a 90-degree exit without smashing straight through the barrier.
Exactly. You'd fly right off the road.
Right. The momentum is just too great. My tires can't grip the road to force that change in direction. But, knowing that, it totally shatters the illusion we see on screen.
Oh, Hollywood has it all wrong.
Right. Every single action movie shows one jet flying directly behind another, just chasing it down in a perfectly straight line, waiting for that little digital red box to lock on. You're telling me that doesn't actually work?
The Hollywood dogfight is a complete illusion.
Yeah.
What you are describing is known in aerial combat terminology as a pursuit curve.
A pursuit curve.
Yeah, it's where the attacking aircraft points its nose directly at the defending aircraft and just tries to run it down. The source text emphasizes that this is actually one of the least effective, most mathematically punishing geometries a pilot can adopt.
But wait, if I'm pointing right at the guy I'm trying to catch, it feels like the shortest distance between 2 points. Why is that mathematically punishing?
Because the defending aircraft is actively trying not to die.
Fair point.
They're not going to fly in a straight line and let you shoot them. They're going to bank hard and turn. And the moment the defender turns, the attacker flying that pure pursuit curve runs into a geometric wall.
What do you mean by a geometric wall?
By pointing at the defender, the attacker is aiming at where the target is right now, not where they are going to be.
Oh, I see.
So to keep their nose on the target, the attacker has to continuously, endlessly adjust their heading, pulling harder and harder as the defender moves across their canopy.
Which means the attacker is constantly reacting. They're just playing catch-up to a ghost.
Exactly.
And I'm guessing that constant turning has a physical cost.
A massive cost. every single time an aircraft turns, it creates drag, which bleeds energy and speed.
Right.
Furthermore, because the attacker is trying to close the distance, they are naturally flying faster than the defender. And as we just established, faster speed equals wider turns.
Oh, so it compounds the problem.
Yes, the attacker is bleeding their own energy while being forced into wider, sloppier turns, while the slower defender is pulling tight, efficient circles.
Wow.
The defender can easily force the fast attacker to just slide right past them and overshoot.
So the attacker is essentially penalizing themselves just by stubbornly trying to keep their nose pointed at the target.
Exactly.
If chasing the enemy directly is the absolute worst strategy, then pilots must be aiming at empty space. You have to point the jet at where they are going to be.
That concept is called lead pursuit, and it is fundamental.
Lead pursuit.
Yes. You predict the enemy's future position based on their current trajectory and speed, and you place your weapons in that empty patch of sky, waiting for them to fly into it.
Like leading a target in skeet shooting.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
But the text makes it clear that dogfighting is far more complex than just calculating a single interception point. It is a continuous, fluid negotiation of dynamic geometry.
Dynamic geometry.
Yeah, pilots are managing two critical variables at all times, angle off and angular rate.
Let's visualize those variables. How do they work in practice?
Think of angle off as the difference in heading between the two aircraft.
Okay.
If you are directly behind your opponent flying the exact same direction, your angle off is 0 degrees.
Got it.
If you are flying directly at each other, head-on, the angle off is 180 degrees. The pilot's brain is constantly tracking this shifting angle.
And the second variable?
But the true key to survival and victory is the second variable, angular rate. This is literally the speed at which that angle is changing.
So it's not just about what the angle is, but how violently it's shifting.
The ultimate goal of a defensive pilot is to force a massively high angular rate on the attacker.
Okay, why is that?
You want to make it so the geometry between the two of you is changing so rapidly that the attacker's nose has to sweep wildly across the sky just to keep you in sight.
Oh, to mess up their aim.
Right. Modern weapons, especially radar-guided or heat-seeking missiles, require a steady, stable tracking period to achieve a lock.
That makes sense.
If you change the geometry faster than the weapon sensors can process, the shot simply cannot be taken.
They are essentially doing high-speed dynamic trigonometry while strapped to a rocket.
That is exactly what it is.
But this brings up a mechanical problem. If I'm in a dogfight and I realize my angular rate is totally wrong, or I'm coming in too fast, I can't just slam on the brakes in midair to fix the math.
You certainly cannot.
How do pilots physically manipulate this geometry?
They use specific tactical maneuvers. The text breaks down several of them, and it is crucial to understand that these are not show-off stunts.
They're not just for air shows.
No, not at all. They are physical, mathematical solutions to very specific geometric crises.
Okay, let's build a scenario then. Say I'm the attacker. I came in way too hot, my speed was too high, and I've overshot the target.
Okay, bad situation.
Right. Now the guy I was chasing is behind me. I need to hit the brakes geometrically, but I don't have brakes. What do I do?
You deploy a maneuver called the rolling scissors.
The rolling scissors. Sounds intense.
It is. To fix your overshoot, you pull the nose of your aircraft up and roll it around your flight path. Imagine drawing a massive corkscrew in the sky.
Okay, I can picture that.
By pulling into this rolling climb, you are deliberately converting your forward velocity into upward vertical movement and rotational movement.
So you're slowing down your forward momentum.
Exactly. You are drastically slowing down your forward progression relative to the enemy. Geometrically speaking, you are throwing out an anchor, forcing your opponent to fly past you, putting you back in the offensive position.
That is genius. What if the situation is flipped? I'm the attacker, I'm gaining on the defender rapidly, but I realize my closure rate is too high.
You're coming in too fast again.
Yeah. If I keep going, I'll overshoot and be forced into that rolling scissors. I want to slow down my approach without actually giving up my position behind them.
In that situation, you would use a high yo-yo.
A high yo-yo.
Yes. You are flying on a two-dimensional plane behind them, but you use the third dimension, altitude, to solve your speed problem.
Okay, how does that work?
Instead of turning away or throttling back and losing engine power, you pull the nose up and climb briefly.
So you just go up.
Right. Gravity immediately bites into your jet, bleeding off that excess forward speed.
Yeah.
But because you stayed above the target, you haven't lost your dominant position.
Oh, that's clever.
Once your speed drops to match theirs, You drop the nose and swoop right back down under their tail.
Okay, one more scenario. I'm completely at a disadvantage. My opponent is behind me, and I need to completely reverse my direction of travel to face them.
A classic defensive problem.
Right. But if I just pull a hard, flat U-turn, the drag is going to bleed all my speed, and I'll be a sitting duck floating in the air.
That is the perfect time for the Immelmann turn.
The Immelmann turn.
Yes. Instead of turning flat, you pull back hard on the stick, pitching the nose straight up into a vertical climb, completing a half loop.
So I'm going straight up and over.
Exactly. At the top of that loop, when you are upside down and flying the opposite direction, you roll the aircraft upright.
Oh, wow.
You have successfully reversed your direction. More importantly, instead of just wasting your speed on a flat turn, you created that speed to gain thousands of feet of altitude.
And that altitude is essentially money in the bank.
It really is.
Because every single one of these maneuvers is an energy trade. The rolling scissors trades forward speed for position. The high yo-yo trades speed for a temporary climb.
Right.
The Immelmann trades speed for permanent altitude. They aren't just flying, they're managing a currency.
That is the defining philosophy of aerial combat. The framework connecting all this geometry is called energy management.
Energy management.
Yes. In the context of a dogfight, energy refers to the total mechanical state of the jet. It is the sum of its kinetic energy, which is its airspeed, and its potential energy, which is its altitude.
It's exactly like the physics of a roller coaster.
Very much so.
Like when you are sitting in that car at the bottom of the track, you need an incredible amount of speed, kinetic energy to fight gravity and push up that massive first hill. You are literally trading your speed to buy height.
Exactly.
And once you crest the very top of that hill, you feel like you were barely moving. You have almost zero kinetic energy. But what you do have is a massive reservoir of potential energy.
Yes, all that stored energy.
That sheer height guarantees you have the speed to execute the next loop or the next corkscrew. In a dogfight, high energy means you have a full bank account of options. Low and slow means you are bankrupt. And bankruptcy up there is fatal.
The roller coaster analogy is incredibly accurate. In the 1960s, a military strategist and engineer named John Boyd, along with mathematician Tom Christie, codified this exact concept.
Really? In the 60s?
Yeah. They developed what is known as the Energy Maneuverability Diagram, or EM diagram.
Okay, EM diagram.
It is a mathematical map of a jet's specific excess power, its ability to accelerate, climb, or turn, plotted across every possible combination of airspeed and altitude.
So they created a literal spreadsheet of exactly what a jet can and cannot do at any given moment.
And those diagrams mathematically proved that every single fighter jet has an optimal turning speed.
A sweet spot.
Exactly. We discussed earlier that the F-16's maximum speed is Mach 2, but the EM diagram reveals its corner velocity, the exact speed where it achieves its absolute tightest, fastest sustained turn, is around 450 to 500 knots.
Oh, so much slower than Mach 2.
Way slower. At that precise speed, an F-16 can pull a sustained turn rate of about 9 degrees per second.
Okay.
If the pilot flies faster than 500 knots, the turn balloons outward and gets wider. If they fly slower, the wings lose lift, the energy bleeds out, and the jet becomes sluggish.
And the sources mention the F-22 Raptor pushes this even further with thrust vectoring.
Oh, thrust vectoring is wild.
Meaning the pilot can literally pivot the exhaust nozzles of the engines to push the tail around, letting the jet point its nose independently of the direction it's actually flying.
It defies logic.
It really does. But wait, looking at these sources, I need to understand a massive human variable here.
Okay.
If you have two F-16s, both flying at exactly 450 knots, both at the exact same altitude with the exact same energy bank account, the physics cancel out, so who wins?
What's fascinating here is that John Boyd asked that exact same question.
Oh, he did?
He realized that a perfectly optimized EM diagram is useless if the human brain inside the cockpit is too slow.
Right, because everything happens so fast.
This led to his most famous, enduring contribution to military strategy, the OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act. It is the psychological engine of the dogfight.
Walk me through how a pilot actually experiences that loop in a split second.
Imagine you are in the cockpit. Step 1. Observe. Your eyes catch a glint of sunlight on a wingtip in your peripheral vision.
Okay, you see the threat.
Step 2. Orient. In a fraction of a second, your brain processes that visual data, calculating the enemy's spatial position, trajectory, and energy state relative to your own.
That's a lot of math for 1 second.
It is. Step 3. Decide. Based on that orientation, you select a mathematical solution. You decide a high yo-yo is required to manage your closure rate.
Right.
Step 4, act. Your hands and feet manipulate the stick and throttle to execute the maneuver.
And while I'm doing that, the other pilot is trying to do the exact same thing.
Precisely. But here is the critical part. If you can cycle through your OODA loop faster than your opponent, you are not just outflying them. You are time traveling.
Time traveling, that is a crazy way to put it.
Well, think about it. By the time your opponent acts on what they observed, you have already changed the reality of the geometry.
Oh, I see.
They're reacting to a version of you that no longer exists. You are forcing them to constantly reset their OODA loop back to observe.
Because the situation changed before they could act.
Exactly. You overwhelm their cognitive bandwidth, dictating the tempo of the fight until they make a fatal error.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because the human brain might be able to process those decisions at lightning speed, but flesh and bone have limits.
Very hard limits.
The environment has limits, the machine has limits. What happens when the pilot hits the physical wall? When does the atmosphere itself just say, no, you cannot make that turn?
The physical constraints of aerial combat are punishing. Let's start with the atmosphere.
Okay.
We talked about the F-16 achieving that perfect 9 degree per second turn rate at its corner velocity. But that metric relies on dense air at low to medium altitudes.
Right, thicker air for the wings to push against.
The text highlights a crucial limitation. If that dogfight moves up above 30,000 feet, the physics change. The air becomes incredibly thin.
So there's less air to grip.
There simply is not enough air mass for the wings to bite into to generate lift, and not enough oxygen for the engines to generate maximum thrust. Up there, that 9 degree turn rate degrades to just 5 or 6 degrees per second. Every maneuver bleeds energy much faster, and regenerating that energy takes agonizingly longer.
So high altitude makes the multi-million-dollar jet feel like it's flying through molasses.
It really does.
The obvious solution seems to be take the fight down low, go where the air is thick, hit that corner velocity, and pull those incredibly tight, aggressive maneuvers.
You can, but that is exactly where you hit the terrifying threshold of human physiology.
Oh, right. The G-forces.
At low altitudes, with thick air and high speeds, the wings can generate immense turning force. The limitation is no longer the atmosphere, it is gravity. Modern fighter jets are structurally engineered to withstand up to 9 Gs.
9 Gs. That means 9 times the normal force of gravity is pulling on the airframe.
Yes.
To put that in perspective, if a pilot weighs 200 pounds, pulling 9 Gs means their body suddenly weighs 1,800 pounds.
It's staggering.
It's like having a small car dropped on your chest.
It is absolute physical torment. And the text points out that the titanium and carbon fiber jet is rarely the weakest link in that scenario.
The pilot is.
The human cardiovascular system is. Under 9 Gs, the blood in the pilot's body becomes 9 times heavier. It violently drains out of the brain and pools in the legs and abdomen.
That sounds horrific.
Within seconds, the pilot's vision narrows into a tunnel, color fades to gray, and without immediate intervention, they will suffer GLOC, G-induced loss of consciousness.
Because the brain just starves of oxygen.
Exactly.
This is why we see pilots wearing those specialized flight suits, right? The G-suits.
Yes. G-suits are equipped with bladders around the legs and abdomen that automatically inflate with compressed air the moment the jet pulls Gs.
That squeezes them.
The suit physically crushes the pilot's lower body, creating a tourniquet effect to trap the blood in the upper torso and force it back into the brain.
Wow.
But the suit alone isn't enough. The pilot also has to perform the anti-G straining maneuver. They bear down, violently tensing every single muscle in their legs and core, while utilizing a specialized forced hiccup breathing technique to maintain blood pressure.
Forced hiccup breathing.
Yeah, it's intense. Every single high G turn is a grueling, exhausting physical battle just to stay awake.
It is a race against the opponent's geometry and a race against your own imminent blackout.
That's one way to put it.
Which brings us to an incredible realization based on everything we've just uncovered. We have spent this entire deep dive marveling at the math, the energy management, the cognitive dominance, and the grueling physical toll of the dogfight.
Right.
And yet the source text delivers a massive reality check. Modern military doctrine considers a close-range dogfight to be an utter failure.
It is the ultimate paradox of modern air combat. Despite all this breathtaking capability, the preferred method of engagement today is BVR, beyond visual range.
Beyond visual range, meaning you don't even see the other guy.
We are no longer talking about corner velocities and rolling scissors. We're talking about radar-guided missiles equipped with their own propulsion, traveling at Mach 4, designed to lock onto and obliterate a target from over 100 kilometers away.
100 kilometers. At that distance, you aren't looking at a speck on the horizon. You are looking at a digital blip on a screen.
And at 100 kilometers, an Immelmann turn is completely irrelevant.
Right.
A missile traveling at Mach 4 does not care about your energy state or your corner velocity. At BVR ranges, the engagement is entirely a battle of electronics.
Electronic warfare.
Exactly. It is about radar cross-sections, jamming, electronic warfare, and missile kinematics. The entire objective is to detect the enemy, launch your weapon, and neutralize the threat before either of you ever lays eyes on the other.
The text notes that if two modern fifth-generation jets actually end up close enough to merge into a visual dogfight, it means all the primary systems failed.
Yes, a complete failure.
It means the long-range missiles missed, or the radars were jammed, or they simply ran out of ammunition, and the geometry of the fight collapsed inward until they were essentially forced into a knife fight in a phone booth.
A failure of strategy, yes. But because that failure, that collapse of distance, is always a statistical possibility in war, pilots have absolutely no choice but to master the knife fight.
I want you, listening right now, to just imagine the psychological weight of that. You dedicate years of your life to mastering this mind-bending high-speed trigonometry.
Thousands of hours of training.
You willingly subject your body to the crushing 1,800-pound torment of 9Gs. You train your brain to instantly calculate kinetic and potential energy trades while traveling at hundreds of miles an hour.
Right.
And you do all of that knowing that your absolute highest goal, the best-case scenario for your career, is to never, ever have to use those skills.
It requires a unique type of compartmentalization. They are perfecting an art form that their own technology and tactical doctrine are explicitly designed to render obsolete.
It's almost poetic.
But when the silicon chips fail and the long-range missiles miss, that visceral geometric mastery is the only thing standing between them and the ground.
So what does this all mean? What is the core takeaway from this incredible intersection of physics and human endurance? To me, it's that flying in a straight line is comfortable, it's predictable,
Yeah.
but it offers you absolutely no control over your environment. In a high-stakes scenario, flying straight guarantees an overshoot. It guarantees failure. True success isn't about raw speed. It's about controlling the rate of change.
Beautifully said.
It's about managing your energy, your altitude, your options, so that you continuously force the opposition to react to you.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it proves that dominance is cognitive and geometric, not just mechanical.
Definitely.
However, there is a final concept introduced at the end of the text that completely upends the delicate balance we've just explored. And it leaves us with a truly terrifying new dynamic to consider.
Oh, what dynamic is that?
We have spent this entire deep dive analyzing the intricate balletic geometry of a two-jet dogfight. We understand the angle off, the angular rate, and the energy trades between one attacker and one defender.
Right, the two-party system.
But consider what happens the exact second one of those BVR missiles, or even a short-range heat seeker, is fired.
Okay, what happens?
The moment a weapon leaves the rail, a missile with its own radar, its own independent tracking logic, and a solid-state motor propelling it to Mach 4, the pilot is no longer managing a two-party geometry problem.
Oh, wow. The missile becomes its own player.
This raises an important question. Suddenly, you are trapped in the dynamic, lethal geometry of three.
The geometry of three.
How do you balance an energy equation? How do you manage your angles? And how do you possibly cycle through an OODA loop when the third variable in the sky is flying 4 times the speed of sound?
And it possesses kinematics that completely dwarf anything a human-flown jet can physically endure. A three-body problem at Mach 4. That is absolute nightmare fuel, but what a brilliant way to frame it. We'll leave you to ponder that impossible math on your own. Next time you see a fighter jet screaming across the sky, remember, its greatest power isn't how fast it can fly in a straight line. It's how quickly and violently it can choose not to. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.